The steady beep of medical machinery cuts through my thoughts like a metronome of mortality. 3 days since the diagnosis, and already the sterile hospital walls feel like they're closing in. I watch Derek's reflection in the window as he paces behind my bed, his footsteps echoing against the linoleum floor. "The insurance won't cover everything," he says, running his fingers through his salt and pepper hair. "We need to think about our options." I nod, trying to ignore the dull ache in my chest, both from the biopsy and from watching my husband of 25 years transform into someone I barely recognize. The breast cancer diagnosis hit us both like a freight train, but while I'm fighting for my life, Derek seems more concerned about our bank account. "I'll need your credit card," he continues, his voice taking on that familiar patronizing tone. "There are some arrangements I need to make. Family matters." I turn away from the window to face him. "What kind of arrangements?" "Just trust me, Fiona. I'm handling everything." He reaches for my purse on the bedside table, his movements too quick, too practiced. Something in his eyes makes my stomach twist. I've seen that look before, at our daughter Lily's graduation when he borrowed money from her college fund, promising to replace it. He never did. "The card's in my wallet," I say, watching him rifle through my belongings. The tremor in my hands isn't from weakness anymore, it's rage, carefully contained. Dr. Collins appears in the doorway, her clipboard tucked under one arm. "How are we feeling today?" Before I can answer, Derek waves my credit card triumphantly. "Got it. I'll be back later, honey. Need to take care of some things." He kisses my forehead, but his lips are cold. "Derek!" I call out as he reaches the door. "What's the exact amount you need?" He pauses, shoulders tensing. "Don't worry about it. You focus on getting better." Then he's gone, leaving behind only the scent of his expensive cologne and the weight of unspoken lies. Dr. Collins checks my vitals, her movements efficient but gentle. "Your numbers are improving. The treatment plan we discussed should—" "He's going to empty that account," I interrupt, my voice surprisingly steady. "Just like he did with our savings last year." She stops writing and meets my gaze. "Fiona, I'm not being paranoid. I've seen the signs before." I laugh, but it's a hollow sound. "You know what's funny? I always thought cancer would be the worst thing that could happen to me. Turns out, it's just opened my eyes to what's been happening all along." Dr. Collins sits on the edge of my bed, her professional demeanor softening. "Have you considered talking to someone? A counselor, maybe?" I shake my head. What I need is a lawyer. And time. My fingers trace the edge of my hospital gown where it covers the bandage. "How long did you say this treatment would take?" 6 months minimum. "But Fiona, your priority should be—" "Perfect," I say, reaching for my phone. "That's all the time I need." As I pull up my banking app, a text from Lily appears. "Mom, did Dad just ask you for money again?" I close my eyes, remembering the look on Derek's face as he left. Not concern for his sick wife, but the calculating gleam of a man who thinks he's won. He doesn't realize that this hospital room has become my war room, and his latest betrayal has given me something the cancer tried to take away. Purpose. "Dr. Collins," I say, opening my eyes, "could you witness something for me? I need to make some changes to my financial arrangements, just in case." She hesitates, then nods. "Of course." I smile, feeling stronger than I have in days. Cancer might be trying to kill me, but it's Derek who's taught me how to fight dirty. And unlike him, I plan to win. The discharge papers feel like a prison release in my hands. 2 weeks since Derek took my credit card, and the hospital walls have become both my sanctuary and my cage. Karen stands beside me, helping pack the few personal items I've accumulated during my stay. "I've set up the guest room," she says, folding a sweater. "Everything you need is downstairs, so you won't have to—" I'm going home. The words come out sharper than intended, but Karen doesn't flinch. "Fiona, be reasonable. You just had major surgery. Derek's barely been here, and when he shows up, it's only to ask about money or paperwork." I zip my bag closed with more force than necessary. "Exactly. And I need to know what he's been doing while I've been stuck here." The door opens and Derek strides in, all polished smile and designer suit. Ready to go, honey? I've got the car waiting. Karen's hand tightens on my arm. Actually, I can... It's fine, I interrupt, meeting Derek's gaze. My husband should take me home. The drive is silent except for the soft jazz Derek always plays to appear sophisticated. I watch his hands on the steering wheel, remembering how those same hands once traced love notes on my skin. Now they just count money that isn't his to spend. I had to make some adjustments to our accounts, he says casually, turning onto our street. Just temporary measures while you're recovering. Nothing to worry about. Of course. I keep my voice neutral, though my fingers dig into my thigh. Did you use my card for those family matters you mentioned? He parks in our driveway, killing the engine. Everything's handled. You focus on getting better. He reaches for my hand, but I'm already opening my door. Inside, the house feels different, smaller somehow. There are subtle changes. New golf clubs in the corner, shopping bags from expensive stores tucked half-hidden behind the couch. The kitchen counter holds a stack of mail, mostly credit card statements. Lily called, Derek says, carrying my bag upstairs. She's coming home this weekend, wants to help take care of you. Did she mention the trust fund? His footsteps pause on the stairs. What about it? She tried to withdraw money for her textbooks. The account was empty. The silence stretches like a tripwire between us. When Derek speaks, his voice has that practiced smoothness I've grown to hate. There was an investment opportunity, time-sensitive. Once it pays off, like the opportunity with Mark Reynolds last year? I turn to face him, steadying myself against the banister. The one that cost us our savings? His expression hardens. You're tired. We can discuss this later. I'm not tired, Derek. I'm awake. Finally. He descends the stairs slowly, each step deliberate. What exactly are you implying? Before I can answer, my phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Mrs. Matthews, this is Mark Reynolds. We need to talk about your husband's recent activities. Privately. Derek reaches the bottom step, looming over me. Who's that? I slip the phone into my pocket. Just Karen checking in. The lie tastes like victory on my tongue. You're right. I should rest. It's been a long day. He relaxes slightly, already dismissing me as the compliant wife he thinks I am. I'll bring up some tea later. I climb the stairs carefully, each step a reminder of my weakened state. But as I reach our bedroom, I hear Derek on the phone in his study, his voice urgent and low. Reynolds isn't returning my calls. If he goes to the board with those documents... I close the door quietly, pull out my phone and type, tomorrow, 2 p.m., the coffee shop on Pine Street. The response comes quickly. I'll bring proof. Looking around our bedroom, I notice more changes. New watches on his dresser, receipts for restaurants I've never heard of. 25 years of marriage spread across these walls in photos that now feel like crime scene evidence, each smile and embrace hiding the truth beneath. My surgical incision throbs, a physical reminder of the cancer being cut away. But as I sit on our bed, surrounded by the artifacts of Derek's deception, I realize some cancers run deeper than cells and tissue. Some need a different kind of surgery altogether. I reach for my laptop, ready to start my own investigation. Derek's always underestimated me, treated me like a supporting character in his story. He doesn't realize that while cancer might have weakened my body, it's given me something far more dangerous. Nothing left to lose. The Pine Street Cafe bustles with lunch crowds when Mark Reynolds slides into the seat across from me. His expensive suit can't hide the nervous twitch of his fingers as he places a manila envelope on the table. I shouldn't be here, he says, eyes darting toward the door. If Derek finds out... Derek's at his club. I push a coffee toward him. Tell me about the documents. Mark's laugh is hollow. Documents. Try evidence. Your husband's been running a scheme through the company for years. Small amounts at first, then bigger transfers. Always careful, always just under the radar. The waitress approaches and we fall silent. My hands shake slightly as I lift my cup, but not from weakness this time. How much? Nearly 2 million. He taps the envelope. But that's not the worst part. He's been using your medical bills as cover, claiming insurance reimbursements for treatments that don't exist. The coffee turns bitter in my mouth. My cancer was his smokescreen. Among other things. Mark leans forward. Look, I'm not innocent here. I helped him set up some of these accounts, but when he started talking about moving everything offshore... The cafe door chimes. Karen walks in, spots us and freezes. Her expression shifts from surprise to something darker before she turns and hurries out. Damn it, I mutter, knowing she'll tell Derek. We need to finish this quickly. Mark pulls out his phone, showing me a series of transactions. These are from last week. He's accelerating his timeline, whatever he's planning. My phone buzzes with a text from Lily. Mum, why is Dad emptying my college account? The world tilts sideways. I grip the table edge, my surgical scar burning with phantom pain. He's targeting Lily's money now. He's desperate. Mark's voice drops lower. The board's asking questions. It's only a matter of time before... The cafe door slams open. Derek stands there, Karen behind him, his face a mask of controlled fury. Well, isn't this cozy? Mark goes pale, scrambling to collect the papers. Derek crosses the space in 3 long strides, grabbing the envelope. Business meeting? Derek's smile doesn't reach his eyes. Funny, I don't recall you being well enough to discuss business, honey. I stand slowly, aware of the other customers watching. Give me the envelope, Derek. Or what? He laughs, but there's an edge of panic in it. You'll tell everyone how I've wronged you? Poor, sick Fiona, betrayed by her heartless husband. No, I meet his gaze steadily. I'll tell them how you've been stealing from our daughter. His facade cracks for just a moment. Karen steps forward, touching his arm. Derek, maybe we should stay out of this, he snaps, shrugging her off. Then to me, you have no idea what you're talking about. The treatments, the specialists, someone has to pay for all that. The treatments I never received, my voice carries in the sudden silence of the cafe. The specialists who don't exist? Derek's hand tightens on the envelope until his knuckles turn white. You're confused. The medication. Stop lying. The words come out sharp enough to cut. I've seen the real medical bills. Dr. Collins showed me everything. He takes a step toward me, but Mark moves between us. Back off, Derek. It's over. Is it? Derek's laugh turns ugly. My confused, cancer-addled wife meets secretly with my disgraced ex-partner. Who do you think people will believe? I pull out my phone, holding it up. They'll believe the recording of this entire conversation, and the board will believe the copies of those documents I already have. The colour drains from his face. Behind him, Karen makes a small sound of surprise, or perhaps satisfaction. I can't tell any more who's truly on my side. You wouldn't, Derek whispers. Think about Lily. I am thinking about Lily. That's why I've already called my lawyer. He grabs my arm hard enough to bruise. You vindictive bitch! Several things happen at once. Mark lunges forward, Karen shouts, and my coffee cup crashes to the floor. But it's the flash of a camera phone from a nearby table that makes Derek release me. We'll discuss this at home, he hisses, backing away. Privately. I watch him storm out, Karen hovering uncertainly before following. My hands are steady as I pick up my purse, though my heart pounds against my ribs. Are you okay? Mark asks, gathering the scattered papers. No, I answer honestly, but I will be. I text Lily back. Don't worry about the account. Mum's taking care of everything. The cancer tried to kill me quickly. Derek tried to kill me slowly, but they both taught me the same lesson. Sometimes survival means becoming the predator instead of the prey. Lily arrives home unannounced, her college duffel bag slung over one shoulder. She stands in our kitchen, looking smaller than her 20 years, clutching a stack of bank statements. The tuition payment bounced, she says without preamble. And my roommate's mom saw Dad at the casino last week. I grip the counter, my surgical scar pulling tight with tension. When? The same day he told you he was meeting with the insurance company about your treatments. She drops the statements on the counter. Why didn't you tell me how bad things were? Before I can answer, Karen appears in the doorway. Her presence has become a constant shadow lately, hovering between loyalty and something darker. Lily, sweetheart, Karen says, moving to hug her. Your mother's been trying to protect you. Lily steps back. By lying? Like Dad? No, I say sharply, by gathering evidence. The front door opens and Derek's voice carries through the house. Honey, Karen called, said there was some kind of emergency. He stops short in the kitchen doorway. The sight of Lily freezes him mid-stride, his practiced smile slipping for just a moment. Princess? What a surprise. He moves to embrace her, but she holds up the bank statements like a shield. The casino, Dad? Really? Derek's eyes dart to Karen, then me. It's not what you think. I was meeting investors. Stop! Lily's voice cracks. Just stop lying. I'm trying to save this family, Derek snaps. The medical bills, the specialists. What specialists? I interrupt, my voice steady despite the rage building in my chest. Name one. The silence stretches like a tripwire between us. Karen shifts uncomfortably, and I catch something passing between her and Derek, a look that makes my skin crawl. This is ridiculous, Derek says finally. I've managed our finances for 25 years. Everything I've done has been for this family. Show me, Lily demands. Show me where my tuition money went. Derek reaches for the statements, but I move faster, sliding them away. Better yet, show us the offshore accounts. His head snaps up. Karen makes a small sound, surprise or warning I can't tell anymore. Mark Reynolds talked, didn't he? Derek's voice turns cold. That backstabbing son of a... Dad! Lily's shock cuts through the tension. Honey, go upstairs, I tell her. Your father and I need to discuss some things. I'm not a child anymore, she protests. I deserve to know. Now, Lily. She hesitates, then grabs her bag and storms out. The sound of her footsteps on the stairs echoes like accusations. Karen, Derek says quietly, give us a minute. But Karen doesn't move. I think I should stay. Something in her tone makes me look closer, the slight tremor in her hands, the way she positions herself between Derek and the door. I remember her quick appearance at the cafe, her constant presence lately. The pieces start shifting into a new pattern. How long have you known? I ask her. Known what? Derek interrupts. Karen's been helping me protect you, Fiona. You're not thinking clearly with all the medications. I haven't taken pain medication in weeks, I say. You'd know that if you'd been to any of my actual appointments instead of fabricating fake ones. Karen takes a step toward me. Fiona, please, there are things you don't understand. Like how you've been helping Derek move money around. The words taste like poison. Or how you both thought my cancer would make me too weak to notice. Derek moves suddenly, reaching for the statements, but his sleeve rides up. There on his wrist is a watch I've never seen before, identical to the one I saw Karen wearing last week. The realization hits like a physical blow. How long? I ask again. But this time I'm asking both of them. The silence tells me everything. I straighten up, ignoring the pull of scar tissue. Get out, both of you. This is my house, Derek starts, but I cut him off. Not for long. I pull out my phone. The police would be very interested in those fake medical bills you've been submitting, not to mention the board at your company. You wouldn't dare, Karen whispers. I meet their eyes, my husband and my best friend, now strangers wearing familiar faces. Try me. They leave finally. I wait until I hear their cars pull away before I let my legs give out, sliding down against the kitchen cabinet. Upstairs, I can hear Lily crying. My phone buzzes, a text from Dr. Collins. Lab results are in. Need to discuss options. I close my eyes, feeling the weight of every betrayal, every lie. The cancer tried to kill my body, but this is trying to kill my soul. I won't let either succeed. Dr. Collins slides my latest scan results across her desk. The tumour's responding to treatment, but your blood pressure concerns me. The stress isn't helping your recovery. I stare at the images, seeing not cells and tissue, but the battlefield my body has become. I can't rest until this is finished. The cancer or your husband. My laugh sounds hollow even to my own ears. Both are trying to kill me, aren't they? The office door opens and a nurse pokes her head in. Dr. Collins, there's a Derek Matthews insisting on speaking with you about his wife's treatment plan. My fingers dig into the armrests. He's here? Dr. Collins stands. I'll handle this. No. I pull out my phone, showing her the text I received this morning from Mark. Board meeting tomorrow. Derek's trying to access emergency funds. Claims it's for experimental cancer treatments. Mrs. Matthews. Let him in. I straighten my spine, ignoring the familiar ache. It's time we discussed my treatment plan. Derek enters like he owns the room. All practice charm and expensive cologne. His smile falters when he sees me. Honey, I thought your appointment was tomorrow. Funny how you know my schedule when you haven't been to a single real appointment. Dr. Collins moves between us. Mr. Matthews, patient consultations are confidential. She's my wife, Derek snaps, mask slipping. And I need to discuss the billing for her experimental treatments. What treatments? Dr. Collins's voice could freeze hell. Derek pulls out a folder. I have all the paperwork here. The specialists in Switzerland. Switzerland? I stand slowly. Is that where you told the board the money was going? His eyes narrow. You've been talking to Mark. I've been talking to everyone, Derek. The board, the bank, our lawyer. Each word hits like a hammer. Did you really think I wouldn't find out about Karen's offshore account? He takes a step toward me. You're confused. The medication? Stop! Dr. Collins' command cuts through the tension. Mr. Matthews, I've been Mrs. Matthews' only oncologist. There are no experimental treatments, no Swiss specialists. Derek's facade cracks. You don't understand. I had to. My phone buzzes. A text from Lily. Mom, someone's at the house removing things. Karen's with them. The room tilts sideways. Dr. Collins grabs my arm as I sway. What have you done? I whisper. Derek runs his hands through his hair, desperation replacing charm. The board's asking questions. I needed to secure assets before... Before what? Before I died from the cancer you used as cover? Or before I exposed your lies? You bitch! The words explode from him. I gave you everything. The house, the lifestyle. You gave me cancer. The laugh that tears from my throat sounds unhinged. Was that a gift too? Dr. Collins reaches for her phone. I'm calling security. Don't bother. I pull out a recorder from my purse. I have everything I need. Derek's face goes white. You recorded every word. I press stop, then forward the file to my lawyer, including your admission about the fake medical bills. Fraud makes such an ugly headline, doesn't it? He lunges for my purse, but Dr. Collins is faster, stepping between us. Leave now, or I call the police. Derek backs away, his mask completely shattered. This isn't over. Actually, it is. I show him my phone screen, an email confirmation from the board. They've frozen all accounts pending investigation, Karen's too. You can't... Watch me. I stand straighter, stronger than I've felt in months. Now get out of my doctor's office. My lawyer will be in touch about the divorce. After he's gone, Dr. Collins helps me sit. Your blood pressure is the least of my problems. I text Lily back. Call the police. Report a theft in progress. I'm on my way. Mrs. Matthews, in your condition, I'm done being the sick wife. I gather my things, hands steady despite everything. Cancer tried to teach me I was weak. Derek tried to convince me I was helpless. They were both wrong. Dr. Collins watches me head for the door. And what happens now? I pause, thinking of Karen in my house, helping Derek steal what's left of my life, of Lily watching it all crumble, of the board meeting tomorrow where everything will finally come to light. Now? I smile, and it feels like baring teeth. Now I show them what happens when you back a dying woman into a corner. Turns out we have nothing left to lose. The police lights paint our driveway in alternating red and blue. I stand in the doorway watching Karen direct movers to load my mother's antique furniture into a rental truck. My wedding china, photo albums, everything that can't be replaced. Mom? The officer says, reviewing the paperwork Derek provided. These appear to be legal documents authorizing the removal of joint property. They're forged. My voice sounds distant, even to myself. Like the medical bills, like everything else. That's a serious accusation. Mom! Lily runs down the stairs. They're taking my childhood stuff. Everything from my room. Karen pauses at the truck, clutching a box of family photos. Derek's just protecting what's his. You forced his hand, Fiona. The betrayal tastes like copper in my mouth. 20 years of friendship and she can't even meet my eyes. My phone buzzes. Mark. Board meeting moved up. Tomorrow morning. Derek's presenting evidence about your mental state. The ground shifts under my feet. Lily grabs my arm, steadying me. You need to sit down, she whispers. Your heart is fine. I straighten up, addressing the officer. Call this number. It's my lawyer. She has proof of the forgeries. Karen laughs, sharp and hollow. Your lawyer? The one Derek's been paying for years? Good luck with that. The words hit like physical blows. Of course. The family lawyer. Another piece of my life under Derek's control. The front door slams open. Derek strides in, all corporate confidence restored. Officer, thank you for supervising. My wife's condition makes her unpredictable. My condition? The room spins slightly. You mean the cancer you've been using to steal our money? See what I mean? Derek's voice drips with concern. The medication affects her judgment. Dr. Collins can confirm. Dr. Collins knows everything. I pull out my phone, but the screen's blurry. My hands won't stop shaking. The recordings? What recordings? Karen holds up my phone, my actual phone, from the box she's carrying. This one. The device in my hand is Derek's old backup. He must have switched them when he was in the doctor's office. The evidence, the recordings, the emails to the board, all gone. You can't. My chest tightens. The edges of my vision darken. Mom! Lily's voice sounds far away. Officer, Derek says smoothly, my wife needs her rest. If you could just... The floor rushes up to meet me. Through the gathering darkness, I hear Lily screaming for an ambulance, feel Derek's hands lifting me. Those same hands that once held mine at the altar, now stained with 2 decades of lies. I wake to hospital fluorescence and the steady beep of monitors. Dr. Collins stands at my bedside reviewing charts. Stress-induced cardiac event, she says quietly. You're lucky Lily called so quickly. The board meeting is in 3 hours. She checks my IV. Which you won't be attending. I have to. You have to live. Her voice cracks slightly. Your daughter needs you alive more than she needs revenge. The door opens. Derek enters, followed by 2 men in suits. Doctor, thank you for calling. The specialists are here to discuss transferring my wife to their facility. Dr. Collins stiffens. I didn't call anyone. Of course you did. Derek's smile is razor sharp. Just like you signed these transfer papers. He holds up documents bearing what looks like her signature. More forgeries. More lies. You can't do this, I whisper. I'm your husband. He leans close, dropping his voice. I can do whatever's necessary to protect our family's interests, even if that means protecting you from yourself. The monitors beep faster as my heart rate spikes. Dr. Collins moves to intervene, but one of the men blocks her path. Your facility, I manage, doesn't exist, does it? Derek straightens his tie. Does it matter? By the time anyone figures it out, the board meeting will be over. The accounts will be cleared. And you'll be resting comfortably. Somewhere. Security, Dr. Collins calls out, but the other man shows her more papers. Court orders. Probably as fake as everything else. I look past Derek to the doorway where Karen stands watching, her face a mask of practiced concern. Beyond her, I catch a glimpse of Lily being held back by hospital staff. The monitors scream as darkness creeps in again. The last thing I see is Derek's triumphant smile, the same one he wore the day he asked for my credit card, starting this whole nightmare. I thought cancer would kill me. Then I thought Derek would. Now I realize the truth. Sometimes the thing that destroys you isn't the disease or the betrayal. It's the moment you realize you never really knew the people you loved at all. The boardroom falls silent as I push through the double doors. Derek freezes mid-sentence, his presentation remote dangling from his hand. Behind him, projector slides show medical bills, all forged, all part of his elaborate lie. This meeting's private, he says, recovering quickly. My wife needs rest. Your wife needs justice. My voice carries despite my weakness. 3 days since my collapse and every step still hurts, but pain has become my armor. Karen rises from her seat near Derek. Security! Sit down. Mark Reynolds enters behind me carrying a leather briefcase. Everyone needs to hear this. Derek's smile turns predatory. Mark, given your history of embezzlement. You mean your embezzlement? Mark opens the briefcase, removing a USB drive. The real records are here, including the original files you deleted from Fiona's phone. The board chairman leans forward. What files? The ones proving Derek created fake medical bills. Dr. Collins steps into the room holding up a stack of papers. I brought the actual records. Every treatment, every real expense, and every fraudulent claim Derek submitted. Derek's facade cracks. You can't be here. Doctor-patient confidentiality was waived, I interrupt, when you tried to have me committed to your fictional treatment facility. The projector image changes as Mark plugs in the drive. New documents appear, offshore accounts, transfer records, all bearing Derek's signature. Karen's name appears too, linked to transactions that explain her recent loyalty. It's not what it looks like, Derek starts, but Karen cuts him off. Don't. She stands, gathering her things. It's over. Sitting down, I tell her. You're not going anywhere. The chairman studies the documents, his expression darkening. These transfers, the amounts match the missing pension funds. He used my cancer as cover, I say, gripping the back of a chair for support. While I was fighting for my life, he was stealing everyone else's future. Derek moves toward me, all pretense gone. I did it for us. Everything was for us. For you. My laugh sounds like breaking glass. The gambling debts, the affair with Karen, the fake medical bills. Tell me, Derek, which part was for us? The room stills. Karen sinks back into her chair, face white. You knew, she whispers. About the affair? The matching watches gave it away. I turn to the board. But the money, that discovery belongs to Lily. Derek goes rigid. Leave her out of this? Why? You didn't, when you emptied her college fund. I pull out my phone, my real phone, recovered from the evidence Lily found hidden in Karen's office. Play the recording, sweetheart. Lily steps in from the hallway, phone raised. Derek's voice fills the room. Transfer everything offshore. Use the cancer bills as cover. By the time Fiona figures it out, if she survives. The recording continues, but I watch Derek's face. Watch him realize that his own daughter helped destroy him. When, he asks hoarsely, when you tried to have Mum committed. Lily's voice shakes but holds firm. I found your files while you were at the hospital. Karen's guilt did the rest. Security arrives, but not for me. As they escort Derek out, he turns back one last time. I really did love you once. No, I say quietly. You loved controlling me. There's a difference. The chairman calls for a full audit. Karen is led away in tears. Through it all, I remain standing, though my legs threaten to buckle. Mark touches my arm. You should sit. Not yet. I face the board. There's one more thing. The pension funds, I know where they are. Derek moved them, but I moved them back. Check account 4471. The chairman types rapidly on his laptop, then looks up in surprise. The money's all here. How? Because I know my husband. Knew exactly which offshore account he'd use. I smile, feeling the last piece fall into place. The same account he used when he stole from his first wife. Derek's shout echoes from the hallway as the final truth hits him. I didn't just uncover his current crimes, I exposed his past ones too. Dr. Collins appears at my side with a wheelchair. This time I don't resist. Was it worth it? She asks softly. I watch Lily talking with the board, standing tall, finally free of her father's shadow. Think of the pension funds restored, the families saved from Derek's greed. The truth, finally exposed. Ask me tomorrow, I say, as my daughter turns to smile at me. When we start rebuilding. The last box from Derek's office sits on my new kitchen counter, filled with financial records I'll never need again. Through the window, autumn leaves scatter across the unfamiliar yard of my rental house. Different, smaller, mine. Lily sorts through old photos, pausing at one from her high school graduation. Dad's not in any of these. He was always behind the camera, I say, controlling the narrative. The doorbell rings. Mark Reynolds stands outside holding a manila envelope. The final paperwork from the board. Derek's sentencing is tomorrow. I take the envelope but don't open it. Karen? Plea deal. She's testifying. He hesitates. There's something else. Derek's first wife called. Says she has information about other accounts. Of course she does. I set the envelope aside. But that's not my fight anymore. Dr. Collins arrives for my checkup, her medical bag lighter now that my treatments are ending. As she takes my vitals, Lily shows her the renovations we've planned for the spare room, her new bedroom for college breaks. Your blood pressure's normal, Dr. Collins says, but her expression holds something back. Just say it. The board wants you to testify at Derek's sentencing. They think it'll help with restitution for the pension funds. The old anger stirs, but it feels distant now, like watching a storm through someone else's window. No. Mom, Lily starts, but I shake my head. The evidence speaks for itself. I don't need to give him one more chance to manipulate the story. Mark nods approvingly. The prosecutor said you might say that. She also said to give you this. He hands me another envelope. Inside is a letter from Derek's first wife dated 20 years ago. A warning she tried to send me before our wedding. Derek had intercepted it, of course. She tried to save me, I murmur. You saved yourself, Lily says firmly. The doorbell rings again. This time it's Karen, looking smaller without her designer clothes and practiced confidence. I can't stay, she says quickly. I found this in my office. She holds out a familiar silver frame, the photo from my first day of remission before everything unraveled, before I knew about the affairs, the theft, the lies. I'm smiling in the picture, Derek's arm around me, both of us pretending we were happy. Keep it, I tell her. Consider it a reminder. Fiona, I never meant... Yes, you did. The words hold no anger now, just truth. We all meant exactly what we did. That's what makes it unforgivable. She leaves without arguing. Through the window, I watch her expensive car pull away, probably the last thing she'll keep after the restitution payments begin. The prosecutor offered me immunity, Mark says quietly, for helping expose everything. Take it. I turn away from the window. Some debts don't need to be paid twice. Dr. Collins packs up her equipment. Your next scan is in 3 months. Try to rest until then. I will. But we both know healing isn't just about cancer anymore. After everyone leaves, Lily and I sit on our new porch, watching the sunset paint unfamiliar shadows across our small yard. She's scrolling through apartment listings for next semester, planning a future neither of us thought we'd get to share. Do you regret it? She asks suddenly. Not the revenge part, but finding out the truth? Sometimes I miss believing in him. I think about the letter from Derek's first wife, about Karen's stolen photo, about all the carefully constructed lies that formed the foundation of our family. Truth is like cancer, I say finally. You can ignore the symptoms, pretend everything's fine, but eventually it demands to be acknowledged. And then? Then you fight, not for revenge but for survival. I take her hand, feeling the strength in her grip. And you build something new from whatever remains. Inside, my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number, Derek using his prison phone privileges. I delete it without reading it. Some chapters need to stay closed. The sun sets on our small piece of reclaimed life. Tomorrow will bring its own challenges, healing, rebuilding, learning to trust again. But for now, sitting here with my daughter, I understand something Derek never could. True power isn't in controlling the narrative. It's in choosing which story you want to tell.